Just take a moment before I introduce our highlight, perhaps, of the entire week, a chance to laugh together, a chance to really enjoy and to breathe and to take life lightly, which is really an important thing to do. I want to just thank the people behind the scenes here that were really instrumental in putting this together, and that's Batya Jacob and Ahuva Stern, Yossi Spiegel, Rebecca Schrag, and all of them, and so many others who were behind the scenes to make this event all come together. So at our Tuesday session with Amanda, we spoke a little bit about coping and thriving, and humor is an important tool in that. And we thought we'd end this week with the opportunity to welcome a very well-known comedian, Eli Lebowicz, where you can find all of his comedy online at elicomedy.com and on Instagram and all the other social media. So we want to end off together and laugh and enjoy. So I hope, Eli, do I see you, Eli? Are you here? I hope we've put enough pressure on you, Eli, to tell you that you are the highlight and you are the climax of our entire virtual family Shabbaton from Monday till now. Welcome, Eli, to our virtual family Shabbaton.
Thanks very much. Thank you for putting the pressure on me, because I wasn't nervous enough to perform for people that I can really hear anyway. So thank you. Those of you joining us, thank you for being here. This is inherently awkward. Everything about this is awkward. Comedy is not meant to be done on an iPad looking at about 9 at a time which are mostly avatars, honestly. So I can't even tell people's faces. And if you're laughing, I won't know really. So it's basically like giving a shiur right now. So in Gemara above Mitzvah, no, I'm kidding. But I have to say, I've been doing a bunch of these shows over Zoom, and it's tough because I'm missing the real audience interaction. I'm missing, the laughs when I think a joke is funny, but other people may not. I don't know. I did a show for a school, Kohelet Yeshiva, last week, and during the show, one of the teachers was making making PPE masks. Zoom on the brain. PPE masks during the show. And I got to tell you, I've never felt less essential in my life. Like it was very, very tough. It's very tough to do this. And in general, it's hard to perform for Jewish audiences, which is what I mostly do. When I do shows live, a lot of times some crowds don't really laugh. They kind of just smile and nod. And then afterwards, I'm not sure the show went well, and people will come up to me and say, you were really funny. And I'll be like, really? Because you weren't laughing. And they'll be like, well, I was thinking it. So I'm glad that maybe people are thinking it. I can't really tell. And I was also told there would be people being unmuted. So, apparently they're not laughing either. So, no, but the whole situation is very, very. Thank you very much for that sympathy laugh. I appreciate it. This whole thing is so strange. The world is upside down. You know that the world is upside down when my shul is emailing me not to come. I'll be like, listen, I wasn't going to come anyway. They're like, no. Like, I really thought, it felt like a relative trying to guilt you. They're just like, you know what, you're not going to come. We're just going to close the shul, okay? We don't need you to be all fancy, okay? And but we really have these challenges. This is so challenging. Everything's on Zoom now, and like as somebody mentioned, people are probably so sick of Zoom. Everything's on Zoom, and teachers. I give so much credit to teachers for trying to teach over Zoom. That's comedy is so hard to do over Zoom, and I don't even have to teach anything. But teachers are able to somehow, on a dime, they were able to just pick up and be like, hey, you know how you don't do this in person anymore? Yeah, great. So you're just going to do it online and just hope for the best. And we're like, all right. And teachers stepped up. It was amazing. I'm so proud of teachers all across the world for being able to do this, because the teachers I had growing up would not have been able to figure out Zoom because they couldn't even figure out the video cart with the TV on it. You knew it was only going to be a 45-minute video, but once it took her 2 hours to figure out how to use it, and with the AUX and HDMI, and I have to say that it's very good, as hard as the situation is, we're very lucky that it happened in 2020, because at least technologically, we have the ability to still communicate and get things up and running. If this happened in 1996, it would have been impossible, because half of us, just to get on, we would have then had to connect to our AOL account, 56K modem, pray that it, hope to God that no one picked up the phone to knock you offline, and just to even check our mail. And, I feel like we're obligated to tell kids nowadays how lucky they are to have it, that you have classes on Zoom. Like, it's the equivalent of our grandparents being like, we walked 6 miles both ways uphill, and like we have to be like, we had AOL and it's 1,000 free hours on that disc. And also, like, I just feel that whenever I skip a song on my phone, I forget how grateful I am that I have all these songs on my phone. And I'm so cavalier about skipping to the next one. And do you know how upset my 6th grade self would be at me for skipping another song? Like, do you know that this kid waited an hour or 2 just to download a copy of R. Kelly's World's Greatest, just to find out it was a virus? Like, you don't understand. There are kids watching this and they're like, I have no idea what he's talking about. So we liked it, okay? We liked our old technology. But it's so, this is so challenging. And parents, I give credit to parents, with this situation. I bet like 3 months ago, all parents were like, I really just want to spend more time with my family. And God's like, are you sure? Okay. And we're all like, I'm really going to limit my kids' screen time. We're like, okay, good luck, buddy. It's hard. And parenting before this, I have a 2.5-year-old. Parenting, it was very difficult before this, because parenting with a 2.5-year-old is pretty much you let your kid play, you're on your phone, not really watching, or at least that's me, and then all of a sudden you hear a weird noise and you turn and you make like a vague, careful, and then you go back on your phone. And if you didn't like that joke, then you're a better parent than I am. But it's so challenging. It's so challenging. And like I said, the teachers being able to do over Zoom is really difficult, because I know that you have to do it in front of parents also. And that's really, have to really teach in front of parents like all the time. Like, that's so challenging. Like, I didn't even know, again, I'm going to date myself, but before cell phones, the idea of talking to people's parents was impossible. Like, you'd call, remember you would have to make plans with someone, and you'd say, be at this place at 9:30, and if they weren't there, then you just assume they were dead. Like, you literally had to call people's houses to make plans, and you do like that horrible, like, hey, is Rabin there? And they're like, that's our last name. And you're like, can you just put him on? I don't really know how to talk to adults. And and then you have this 5-minute conversation. And I bet, by the way, these kids are probably trying to pull the same tricks over Zoom as if they were in person. They were probably just like, I have to go to the bathroom, and they're like, I can see that you're playing Xbox. Okay, I'm not born yesterday, which is an old phrase. But also, like, this whole last couple of months has just messed with our perception of everything. Like, you'll watch a horror movie, and instead of yelling out, "Don't go in there," you'll be like, "Don't touch the elevator button." Like, it's so crazy. And the whole situation of the COVID, it's like, could the symptoms also be any more vague? It's like, coughing, anxiety, sweating, baldness. Like, I think I've had it for years. It's so. It was more real for some of you, I know. And I also feel like it really made us, like, it's really made people evaluate, the things they have in life. And it's really, I don't think anybody realized how much they appreciate or hate their apartment or house, because we were all like, oh yeah, I'll live here. Like, you never really were grappling with, am I okay with being trapped here for like 3 months? And, the same thing, non-Jews, usually have wedding vows, and Jews don't really have that. But I feel like if you had Jewish wedding vows now, it would be like, are you okay hearing the same stories every Shabbos meal for like 3 months? And, like, is there any the greatest foresight that rabbis had was knowing that we would need 4 cups of wine on Pesach, like right away. Like this Pesach was so challenging, and then you have like the customs that just like kind of insult you, like badikas chametz, like you're supposed to hide 10 pieces of bread before the night before Pesach, in case there isn't like there's not 200 Cheerios under your couch anyway. Like, come on, if it's like, oh, I found all 10 pieces, that's it, there were only 10 pieces, that's amazing. That everything. And shuls are open, some shuls are starting to open up, and I hope they do it safely. And I know, there's certain guidelines. Some shuls in other states are saying we're only opening up to 40% capacity, and I bet they're drawing short straws of who has to like stay home. The people that are like, either some people are going to be like, you know what, I gotta get, like, the people that are really like stuck of being at home, they're like, you know what, I'll even go to Shabbos on a Monday. Like, I'll totally go. Like, long talking, that's fine, I'll do it. But or some people are just like, you know what, for myself, I would be like, you know what, I'm gonna jump on that grenade and I'll daven at home for the next couple months. It's fine. But I do miss shul. I do miss. I never thought I would say like, it's crazy. I try to participate in some of these like Friday afternoon, Kabbalah Shabbat things, like Simcha Line, Spinner, all these guys, and it's crazy. Like, I don't have to go anywhere. I'm still late. Like, it's so crazy. But I miss shul. Like, we have, we had, this is almost like, this is gonna be the 11th Shabbos, for me, of not being, having shul. And it's so crazy because we missed like a couple months. It's Rosh Chodesh coming up. And, so I even the stuff that bothered me, I miss, like annoying Yal V'Yavo guy. This is the person who davened to rush through Shmona Esrei just to beat everyone to Yal V'Yavo, the Hermione Granger of davening. Like, Yal V'Yavo, I beat you all. And you turn to your Shmona Esrei, you're like, shut up. And then, of course, you forget Yal V'Yavo anyway. Or Kiddush Shabbaton reminder guy. This is the person who's in shul on Saturday night who's like, after shul, you're like, who wants to go see a movie, get some pizza? And they're like, Kiddush Shabbat. You're like, oh man, I didn't know we had homework. By the way, that Kiddush Shabbat after Yom Kippur is really tough, because Yom Kippur, you're like, I'm gonna do all the right things. I'm gonna do, have all this kavanah, and then Yom Kippur ends, and they're like, Kiddush Shabbat. You're like, well, I lasted as long as I could. By the way, that Kiddush Shabbat after Yom Kippur, it's the only time that you can say, the excuse you can say is, I got to get to my sukkah. Like, I got to build my sukkah. That's the only time you can say that. You can't be like, Kiddush Shabbat, like, I got to get to my sukkah. It's March. Yeah, I got to take it down. Like, it's still up, and I haven't gotten around to it. And it's so the idea, but like, we have upcoming this Shabbos, again, another Shabbos that we're missing is actually Shabbos Mevarchim. And what I'll miss most, I think, I have no idea. I don't even know what parsha it is. Like, but you know what I mean? Like, we're going to miss Birkas HaChodesh. That's what I really miss. Birkas HaChodesh, when they announce when Rosh Chodesh will be, kind of. They don't announce Rosh Chodesh. They announce the Moad, and nobody knows what that is. It's a wonderful moment. The Gabbai will just be like, the Moad will be Tuesday, 6:30, and 8 Chalakim after 7, Yerushalayim time. Everyone's just like, okay, well, when's Rosh Chodesh? And when am I not saying Tachnun? Okay, Tachnun, we're home for all of Nisan. Was that not the biggest waste of a month with no Tachnun? Are you kidding me? Tachnun is the most hated thing in Judaism. You could take someone's name out of the Megillah, put the word Tachnun, and people would boo twice as hard. Okay, like, it's not as bad as Slichos. Slichos is like Tachnun meets the DMV, and that's really, again, if you got offended by that, it's, by the way, just something about Tachnun also. Tachnun, it doesn't really apply because we're not in shul, but when they announce when Rosh Chodesh will be, you really want Rosh Chodesh to fall on a Monday or Thursday, because you are waning anyway, and hopefully it'll knock out a long Tachnun. So you're hoping it'll come. It'll be on Monday or Thursday. So it's kind of like when you're waiting in the subway, and you're waiting for your train to come, and you're like, I hope they make an announcement. There was an approaching. You're like A train, like B train. You're like 2 stations, 12 stations away. So it's like Rosh Chodesh will be like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. How is that even possible? I don't even know. And it's been a while since the subway, so we may not have remembered. But also like what I also miss is shul boredom. Being bored in shul. Shul boredom is very real. Here's how you know shul boredom is real. If there is a piece of paper in front of you in shul, you will read it. It doesn't matter what it is. So newsletters, announcements, svarim. English teachers should put, Moby Dick and War and Peace in front of people, see what happens, okay? Like, if you go to the bathroom without your phone, so you start reading the Febreze in the soft soap bottle, you're like, hey, soft soap had a pretty good year this year. Also, apparently, there's a good. And Shavuos is the next holiday. Is coming up next week. Omer reminder for those of you still in. If you're not, I hear you. It's a tough year. By the way, another thing in shul when they announce, if you're still in the spirit of Omer, they continuously with a bracha, and they announce it in shul, they say bracha Omer, but if you are not in, you can't really participate, so you gotta like, no, yeah, that was realistic, right? You guys believed it, and half of you were thinking I got out on day 4, okay? Early Shabbos gets everybody, okay? No, so Shavuos is coming up, and I was thinking about the number 40. The number 40 is a really important, number in Judaism. Moshe was up on Har Sinai for 40 days, 40 years in the desert. Even a Zoom meeting for free only lasts 40 minutes. Like, it's a very, that was a new joke. So, thank you. We got a lot of, but on Shavuos, people have this ambition, like they're gonna, I admire people's ambition on Shavuos, how naive they are, that they're like, we're going to learn the entire Torah tonight. We're going to get through it. They're like, and then they're like, Bereshis bara. They wake up and it's what it's like is like when you go on a plane. Remember planes, guys? And when you go on a plane and what you do when you go on a plane, you bring 3 books with you. Why? Because suddenly you're gonna like love reading. You're like, I'm gonna read all these books. I'm gonna write a novel while I'm up. Even though I have hundreds of movies on my phone, 5 minutes in, you're like, hey, Pitch Perfect 3 is on. I'm gonna watch that instead. So, and it's really, but we have all these holidays, we have, and the holidays that we have are tough to explain sometimes, but after Shavuos, here's what I realized about Shavuos. Shavuos marks a certain point in time, and Shavuos is the best time, after Shavuos is the best time to start a job if you work for a non-Jewish company, because you have 3 months of being normal. Okay, 3 months where you're finishing up an interview and they're just like, all right, so you'll start on Monday. Anything else I should know about you before we start? And you're like, nope. And in your head you're like, in September I'm insane. And it's so hard to all the holidays we have in Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, Shmini Atzeres, will start like and to take off at the end, if they're all in weekdays, it's so hard. At least Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur are what I call name brand holidays. People have heard of those. Afterwards, after Yom Kippur, people don't really follow this. So you kind of have to have that awkward meeting with your manager, and you're just like, so I'm going to need another 2 days next week. That's fine. They'll just make up the time of the week after. I'm going to need another 2 days that week also. Why? What's this holiday called? Happiness of the Torah. That just sounds made up. But don't worry, no holidays for like 6 months. But I will need to leave by 3 on Fridays, and real for many, I know. And Shabbos has to be one of the hardest things to explain to people that aren't Jewish. It's just so tricky, It's just like, especially in the winter, we have to leave at like 2 o'clock for like, and they don't understand. They're like, I understand you leave at 2 o'clock, well, like sunset's not till 4. You're like, yeah, but I gotta like cook and like shower and argue with my spouse. It's like a whole thing, and it's like a whole process. And I don't really know how to explain to people. It's like, I don't understand, why can't you just leave like right before? And you're like, well, at sunset, I become Amish. I don't really know what else to tell you. Like, that's the best way. You know, the Pasuk says, it says 6 days of the week you shall work, and the 7th day you should play board games and have arguments about things you could have Googled. And that's the Torah, by the way. We play. We're probably, a lot of people are playing board games. I used to, go to my friend's house playing board games. I would go to ask where all his board games were, and I saw the game Jenga on the shelf, and I took it off the shelf, and the whole shelf came collapsing down. And but what I love about Shabbos, so Shabbos is very hard to explain to people that aren't Jewish. And then sometimes you have to, you want a non-Jew to do something for you, but you can't tell them directly. So it's this thing called Amiral Akum, where you're not supposed to tell them what to do. You have to hint to them and play this weird game of 20 questions. Like, it's God's way of saying, if you're going to cheat and use a loophole, I want this to be as hilarious as possible. Okay. So, you forgot to turn your air conditioner on. You're like, hey, is it hot in here? Are you hitting on me? Like, I think we gotta find it. Or, you want a non-Jew to kill a bug for you. You're not supposed to tell them directly. So now you have to pretend like you're in the mafia performing a hit. See this thing? I want it gone. Do you want me to kill it? I don't want to know any details. Just have it. But the Shabbos, the absolute best thing of Shabbos is something called Jewish 5-second rule. Regular 5-second rule is when food falls on the floor. Women can wait about 5 seconds. They can still eat it. And guys can wait about 3 weeks and they can still eat it. Not anymore, but you know what I mean. And Jewish 5-second rule is when you go to the bathroom on Shabbos, you leave the bathroom, you turn the light off. You're like, oh shoot, 5-second rule, turn it right back on. I said a bracha before, and I know a bunch of you are judging me, being like, sure. But I hope this ends because even this stuff bothers me about shul and being together. I still miss, I try to even if this is like for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. First of all, I don't know what's going to be like. Are we going to be in shul? And some people are people are for sure going to be complaining. I couldn't hear the chazan through his mask, and it's that's your biggest problem. But Yom Kippur, I try to have an inspirational davening on Yom Kippur, but it's tough because I'm like you. I'm counting the pages, dividing by 2. Thank God. It is nothing breaking your fast is amazing, but it is nothing like realizing 150-page Musaf is only really 75 pages. That is really, and you get mad at the chazan when you read something that's not bolded. You're like, dude, what are you doing? We could have been 8 pages further by now. And it says some shuls say these paragraphs. You're like, please don't be some shuls, please. If I was ever for office, my campaign slogan would be most congregations omit this. Okay. And is there anything worse, by the way, than somebody who's not Jewish after Yom Kippur they say to you, I hope you had a nice holiday. Do you know what I was doing yesterday? I'm cold, I'm hungry, I'm a bad person. All together now. Or you're focused on how slow the chazan is going, and that's the only thing. That's the only thing, and that it seeps into every tune of every song, and you just make up your own lyrics. You're like, I wish he'd hurry up so we could get a break. The book I brought to shul isn't so great. What page are we on? How much more is there to go? I can't believe he's going so slow. Thank you. I'm a lady, but I sing. Thank you. I am a lady, but I don't really sing, so I guess I'll be like a basic English greeter. I'll check receipts on the way out. And by the way, being a Kohen or Levi on Simplest Torah is like having TSA pre-check. It is amazing. It is wonderful. If you don't get that joke, text a Kohen or Levi and they will understand. When you're in line, you're just like, global entry, sorry. It's so, I have to say, so Purim, I know Purim, things were really hard around Purim. Purim was a little bit like everybody was like, should we do anything? Like, you know, we went to the Megillah reading and somebody coughed, everyone's like, boo, like, you know, it was a little weird, like, you know, we had Mishloach Manot, and I love giving Mishloach Manot, but this year we didn't really do it as much, you know, we're just like, give me toilet paper and canned foods, that's all I'll take, like, don't worry, like, make a donation in my name. What I love about Mishloach Manot is I love getting Mishloach Manot, but more than getting them, I like re-gifting them, because that's what we all do. Don't be embarrassed, because we all do it, because you can only make so many, especially those of you that are teachers. You know, you have to make, you know, because you always get those surprise people. You make your 50 or 25 or whatever, and you always get those surprise people that knock on your door and they're like, hey, happy Purim. You're like, oh, shoot. I didn't know we were that good of friends. Hold on. You do this, like, panic shuffle behind the door, like when a woman has to put hair on really quickly, which out of context sounds really strange. You know, and you do this, like, come on, you're like, two brachas. What bracha do you make in a banana? Forget it. Give him some Chex Mix. And we all have that table now, because now that we're all working from home, we all have that one table of everything, right? It's a table we work on, the table we eat on, the table our kids put Play-Doh on and draw on, and it's one table. So on Purim, the same thing. We have the one table. You have your prepared shalach manot in one corner, and then you have your stuff you want to keep in another corner, and then you have the junk pile, the stuff you hate, the stuff you want to get rid of immediately. You know, the black jelly beans, the yellow Laffy Taffies, the fruit. You're like, ugh, get out of here. And, you know, you this is purposely just to re-gift to people. You know what I mean? Like, one year I'm going to write my name in a box of raisins and see if it ever comes back to me. And so, you know, you panic quickly, you try to put something together. You know, you can't really make it as part of your theme because unprepared isn't a theme. And so you finally open the door and you're like, happy Purim. And you're like, wait, I just gave you these raisins. And that's why in my shop, I write wishing a happy Purim to you and your family, or whoever you decide to give this to. So, and I have to say, so I hope I brought some laughs tonight. You know, I do very clean material for the most part, because especially when, I mean, look at me, even if I told a dirty joke, it really wouldn't be believable. If I was like, you know, I was with this one person, you'd be like, oh, no, you weren't. You go back to why you, buddy. All right. Like, and, you know, I know that when I go to a comedy club, comedians are usually very inappropriate, and they'll get up on stage and be like, you know how when you're at a club in Vegas doing drugs, they'll be like, no. Or not even dirty stuff, just stuff I can't connect with. But you know how you're at a McDonald's? I'm like, let me stop you right there. Like, I need a comedian who'll say something I can relate to. I need a comedian who'll get up on stage and be like, you know how when you're peeing and you sneeze and your yarmulke falls in the toilet? I'll be like, yes, yes, totally. That joke is really lacking the live audience, because if that was a live audience, everyone in the crowd, all the women would turn to the men and they're like, does that really happen? All would have to lie and say no, it does not. And but like I said, I'm very proud to be Jewish. I'm very proud of Yachad. I'm very proud of Jewish organizations. But like, sometimes you want to downplay it. And I was driving with a friend of mine, and this is a few months ago, and he cut off like 20 cars, and he said, take your yarmulke off for this. And I said, you're driving a Honda Odyssey, okay? You might as well have mezuzah on the car, okay? Yeah, no, so, but like when I would fly, you know, back in the day, you know, again, you downplay your Judaism, and there's sometimes you just want to, you know, keep to yourself. But I fly on Sikkos with my lulav and esrog, so now I have to walk through American Airlines holding this giant thing, you know, and the woman, you know, first of all, you can't put anything down, you know, bag by itself, so you got to go to the bathroom with the lulav and esrog, which seems to be wrong. And everyone at LaGuardia Airport is like, you've never seen a guy go to the bathroom with a tree before? What's your problem? Like, you know, and you have to walk through American Airlines holding this giant tree. And the woman obviously says to me, she says, what is that? I'm like, it's like a religious tree. I don't know. And she says, do you plant it? And I'm like, no, you idiot. You shake it. Duh. Like, you know, and I have to say, I had a good time. Thank you for the people that were unmuted and being my sacrificial lambs. This was a lot of fun. I hope I helped distract you from the world right now, and I hope I brought some joy and some laughs. And I hope we can all go to shul soon and think of all the shul characters. Okay. Thank you very much. My name is Eli Lebowicz. Aaron, thank you so much, and thank you all of Yachad for having me.
All right. Thank you, Eli.
Thank you, Ellie. Okay, guys. Thank you very much, Ellie, for joining us tonight. I think you gave us all a lot of laughs. We thank everybody for joining us. We really had, I think, a great week. In 1987, Yachad hosted our first family Shabbaton. And since then, Yachad had been hosted by many hotels through the Catskills in Connecticut, in many, many areas, in many places throughout the United States, in the Midwest, in Los Angeles. This was our first virtual family Shabbaton. We hope that you all felt at home this week, being in your own homes, but we really pray to Hashem that in the future you will be able to feel at home and be with us again in a hotel, hopefully in Yerushalayim, as we've said all week, but seeing each other once again in person. That's our prayer to Hashem. As we've said through the week, we really want to thank everybody who's instrumental in putting this together. Rabbi Aaron Rosenthal, Ahuva, Sarah Liba. We really can't thank Yossi enough. Without his expertise in the tech department, in the Zooming, going back and forth with all the minutiae of getting this program off the ground, not just this virtual Shabbaton, but every part of Yachad in Demand, we would not be having any of these programs over the last few months. So we really thank everybody who made this program and all the programs that we've been working on. But I really want to take a moment to thank our leader and give a special hakarat tov to our international director, Avrami Adler, who I think we've been remiss in thanking all week. Avrami joined us in 17 months ago. It seems like he's been here forever, but his tenure began 17 months ago. Over the past 17 months, he's really guided us in helping us really understand what kind of community Yachad is and how we work together and what a family it is. But over the last few months, we've all lived through a very unprecedented time. And Avrami has shown us how we can overcome all of our challenges and really build this Yachad community and family and rise above anything that we're faced with, and really become a true Kiddush Hashem for the entire Jewish community. I know, Avrami, that I share this thank you and hakarat tov with your entire staff, with all of our Yachad families, and with all of our Yachad members when I say thank you from every one of us to everything that you do. As we look towards next week, we're looking forward to celebrating Chag Shavuot and once again receiving the Torah from Hashem as a nation b'Yachad. Even though we've been sequestered away in our individual homes the last few months, we know that each of us have tried to make each day count in our mitzvot and mitzvot. We need to continue to be doing this beyond the Chag, making each day continue to count. We pray to Hashem to continue to heal and bring a quick refuah to anyone who is still suffering from this disease, and that we stay healthy and safe. We give that bracha to everyone. And with his help, that we pray that we will be able to see each other in person very soon. And that b'Yachad, we will continue to grow and be able to greet each other in person again. We thank everyone again for joining us over this past week. We look forward to seeing everybody. Good night, good Shabbos, and Chag Sameach. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time.
Take care.